So, story time. Basically, back in the day, the guys and I, we'd go on runs. So, backstory for this, I was in high school, and the guys and I, we'd have this one run like a year where we'd run down, and we'd have a free run, basically. I was in cross country, so I ran long distance, and we'd have a free run. Basically, we'd go down and we'd get to choose where we ran, and then we'd come back after like 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Um, the guys and I, we found this one abandoned building, and we'd always run to it. Now we'd get down there and we'd have like 10 minutes to just check out all the cool stuff and then run back. But we went there so many times. We'd always go there, and people would play like airsoft down there, paintball down there. Some dude actually burnt down the house a couple years later, and I was actually quite angry about it. It literally had newspapers from like World War I in there. It had bombs in there from like World War I. Like I think one of the guys has one of them. I don't know entirely. Um, but it was stuff. It was owned by the city, and someone burned down the thing. There's this like combine there and everything. It was super cool. It was like an old farmland and everything. It was really nice, iconic thing. And then once the building burned down, nah, some dude decided he wanted to start patrolling it. One of the neighbors just starts watching over it and such. We used to always go down there and just look at all the cool stuff. It was so nice. We would just walk around. But one time I went down there, and he's like, "Yeah, the sheriff patrols this area now," and I'm like, "Cause I went down there and the neighbor was there, and I was like, oh shoot, and then there's a guy, and I'm like, whatever, it's whatever. There's always people here. Some dude was taking Instagram photos at this place, like the previous time before that I used to go there, um, and we would always look for all the through all this stuff. But then the neighbor came down and he's like, "Yeah, you didn't bring your car, right?" And I was like, I kind of did bring my car." And he's like, "Well, your car might get towed. There's a sheriff that patrols here. Like the county sheriff actually patrols this now, um, along with like this World War II bomb factory that they had, which that's a story for another time because we have some fun stories about that. But we we went down there, and the building was like falling apart, but we'd always just walk around it and everything. People would play paintball and airsoft. I already said that. I know. Okay, but it was an iconic site. I can't show you any photos unless I can find. No, I can't even find it on Google Maps because then you guys are just gonna pinpoint my location, and then you guys are gonna like DOS my house location. So I'm not gonna do that. Or at least you guys are gonna just dox my hometown, and I'm not gonna do that because that's a terrible idea. So yeah, you guys aren't getting any photos of this place. Sorry. Um, I would love to give you photos of it, but you guys are gonna find it. So it was a really nice place, though. We'd always go down there. But he's like, yeah, the county sheriff patrols here now because kids started smoking dope and making meth over here. They had to take down the silos because people were making meth inside them. So you just like first things first, kids, don't do drugs. Okay, drugs are bad. Okay, funniest thing ever. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that because like you ruin everything, and kids would always steal everything with like everything where the value was stolen from there at this point now. So I mean, I don't even see why they would want to patrol it anymore. I mean, preserve it. I mean, it's also now it's a hazard because the main barn is actually literally gonna fall apart one of these days. It's just gonna just collapse on its own weight because the wood is just not good anymore. But it was just really iconic. We'd always go down there because it was like this cool place. We'd always hang out for a little bit. We'd come down there and just be like, "Oh, this is awesome! Oh my gosh!" And we'd walk around for like an hour and drive back. It was just like our spot, you know. And then apparently there was a bunch of other kids who actually had the same idea, and they were dead. And I was like, "Bruh." So when we found out about that, I was quite bummed actually, cause we never really did anything like to harm the property. We just went around and looked. We didn't do anything. It was so cool. I mean, the house still had power to it, and I'd flick the light switch, which is not a great idea. Don't actually flick a light switch because you could end up like starting a fire. Don't touch light switches inside abandoned buildings, okay? It's not a good idea, especially ones that are from like World War One, okay? And things like not stable, okay? But we'd walk around there, like you'd go to the floor of this place, and the house had newspapers all over the place. There was a horse barn. That's the main barn, and it had just a bunch of tools in it and everything. Um, there were heroin needles on the ground. I don't. Why? Anyway, there was a bunch of like old, uh, old jugs of oil, like metal oil cans, like big ones. Um, for like all the machinery, there was a combine actually there. There was like a corn header that we can't find that anymore, but there was like a soybean header or yeah, I'm just gonna describe it as that. You guys should know exactly what it is, or a wheat header, I should say. Some people use it for wheat. Some people use it for soybeans. Yada yada. I don't know entirely. But it was a really nice combine. I found it was really cool. Battery was dead, so I mean it wouldn't turn over, and it probably had no gas in it because they probably siphoned it out, or it probably just went bad and corroded the inside of it. Uh, ooh, wait, was it diesel? Does that thing run on? I don't know. It could have been old enough that it ran off of actual gas. Because back in the day, things used to just run off of gas. I think. Like, I think my grandfather actually had a gas tractor at one point. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going on a tangent here. I'll be honest. Hopefully, you guys like when I premiere these videos. Um, just a side note. I hope you guys like that I premiere the videos instead of post them. Um, other than that, there was a few other barns. There was a shop, like a it wasn't a machine shop, like a big old shed, but like there was like a tool shop where you had all this extra stuff. There was a uh, barn with a bunch of wood inside it, which is at my grandfather's, where all the wood is in the corn crib, which is a corn crib's basically where you would take your corn and you'd set it out to dry it, because it wouldn't dry. You didn't have like a dryer to dry the corn like you do now, so it would dry naturally. So you'd put it in so it'd be protected from the elements, and then it would dry out, and then you'd put it in the bins. The bins were taken down. There were two chicken areas. They were, I don't know, maybe 20 feet wide, not 15 feet wide, and they went straight up. I think there was a silo. The back end of the property had a couple things. It was just infested with thistles and everything. Actually, funny story. When the Instagram guy came through taking pictures for his Instagram like 4 or 5 years ago, this was a while back at this point. Um, he, we thought he was a cop when he came in. We were like, ah, great. Well, we've fucked ourselves. Now we got to talk to a cop. I haven't actually been pulled over. I could talk about that sometime. Never been pulled over. And, I mean, I'm lucky for it. Really lucky for it. Other than that, I don't know too much else. I did get my phone, as you've seen in the rant probably being posted the day prior to this one. I'm just still recording these on the same day. I just sit in front of the mic and I record for maybe 10 minutes each, and I just I sent two of the videos off to the editor. Minecraft, I record for like an hour, and I send that to an editor. It's just how the life rolls around. But, let's see. I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting for the last seconds to roll out, really. I mean, you have to, when you talk as fast as me, It's hard. It's hard to hit the numbers. Anyway, the 2 videos. Gosh, dang it. Okay. One of these times I'm going to get this right because it's mirrored. 2 videos here. Video in the center. No. Thing in the center. 2 videos out here. Base.